I'm being joined on Perspectives today by Precious Oruche, a feminist union leader and human rights activist, nicknamed Mama P. She's active in organizations that promote women empowerment. Also joining us is Adetoun Onojobi, a human rights activist as well, and a social worker dedicated to uplifting children, women, and vulnerable communities. Founder of Feed a Child Initiative, Adetoun is known for her bold voice, empathy, and tireless fight for justice and dignity. And last but not the least is our human rights lawyer, activist, and social commentator, Inibehe Effiong. I welcome you all to Perspectives today. I don't know whether you guys, you saw those videos. You saw the video of the boy that was beaten and the welt marks on his body. And then, of course, the bullying and also the drug taking in class. I mean, these guys, I'm sure the average age is about 12, 13, 14. So I want to start with you, Tom, because I know you're a very strong advocate about that. This child abuse, why is it so widespread in Nigeria? From what you've seen, can you share some of the harrowing stories you've seen with us?
Thank you. All right. So you see this child abuse thing, before it used to be like an external treatment that comes into homes, but we've realized over the years that this abuse is mostly coming in from different homes now into the society. It's an influx from the home and outpour to the society. We've seen, stories that you can imagine a 4-year-old boy being poured boiling hot water because of 300 naira.
Wow.
You can imagine a mother who didn't give her own child food for over 7-8 hours, and the boy goes into the fridge just to pick something to eat, and then the next thing, you pour him hot boiling water. You put knife on the gas burner, and you tear his body. And
this is the mother.
And the mother. And you say you're training him so he doesn't become a thief in the future.
Because I saw some videos that you sent to me. It was just that it was too gory for us to use on air. The child that was burnt, and all you could see was just the naked, raw flesh.
Yeah, if you go to a Bones and Trauma Department, pediatrics, we have a whole lot of them there. Negligence, frustration, anger. So these children are the ones that are receiving, and they take it out on them. So bullying children, beating children is no longer training. It's like a way of somebody expressing his or her anger on these minors. And these children have a fundamental right to live. They have a fundamental right to enjoy parental love, bond. But are they getting it? They are not getting it. And same thing is happening in our schools. A lot of teachers in schools now, you realize that they are infuriated. They are angry. I was speaking to a teacher a few days ago. He said he's worked in a school for over 30 years, but his anger is the government has stopped them from beating children. So when he sees a fellow student hitting another student, he says, deal with him very well. If I can't deal with him. So they send other students to do what they are supposed to do simply because the government has put a lane or a stop or a ban or whatever that don't touch any child. Don't punish them, because even teachers come from school. We did a case in Ogun State. The teacher saw this alcohol, all this small bottle, what do you call it? This all these small shots that they take, this origin-like thing, with some students, and then he wanted some of it, and then the students were like, no, we are not giving you. And then the next thing, he punished the boy, dealt with the boy, beat the boy until the boy dropped dead. And the principal of the school told the teachers to run away abscond.
Wow.
And the teachers left. So luckily, the students were able to come up together, they teamed up together, and they were able to hold one teacher arrest. And I'm talking about boys of 13, 14. There was no 16-year-old boy amongst them. They were all minors. So teachers are also using students as a weapon to carry out.
Let me ask Precious, why victims of child abuse usually tend to suffer in silence? And they cannot speak out. Maybe they're too young to, or whatever. But like Tom was saying, there was also another video of a group of women that were dancing in the dorm. These girls could have been, I think they were like about 14, 15, 16. Yes. And they were, licking each other out.
The biggest would be like a strawberry-sized nipple.
And so, what are the things that one should look out for when children tend to show these signs? What do you think causes this?
Okay.
And if they're going through it, even especially the sexually molested ones, what are the kind of signs you think one should look out for? And whether you two also have stories that you want to share?
Oh yes, there are a lot of stories. Some of us that grew up in the ghetto, child abuse seemed normal.
Are you serious?
Yes, to say the uncle that wants to hug you and put his hands and tell you, oh, he's still strong, oh, he's coming out now, you're becoming a big girl.
I'll give you money for pad.
Yeah, I'll give you money for pad, oh. Come, let me sign for your card.
Don't tell your mama.
Don't tell your mama, oh, my
so
wife.
So it's a regular
thing in the ghetto, you know. So except there's proper education and enlightenment, even these mothers, I don't think they know that their children are being abused, or because of the favors they get from these uncles, they tend to keep quiet. As an educated person, I feel, or as an adult, I feel some of the signs you should look out for is in children, is behavioral patterns. You know, they are often scared to speak out. Some of them don't even know how to explain what they are feeling or what they are going through. Some of them are scared of the abuser. Some of them are scared that they will not be believed, and so they just keep quiet. It's a very big problem. How do you explain to your mother, who is a religious person, that the pastor that she so believes in is putting his hands in your pants? So you just keep quiet and go through it till you are matured enough to speak out. So for those watching or listening to us, some of the signs that you can look out for in a child that is being abused, the change in their behaviors. One, injuries, unexplained injuries. How do you, like she said, how do you explain that a 4-year-old is having such a burn? You know the burns we experience when you go to the kitchen to pick something and the hot pot. What is a 4-year-old doing in the kitchen? So when you see such injuries, broken ankles, fractured, you know, you ask questions. If you're a teacher, how is it in the house? What happened? How did you get this injury? Those children suffering from neglect from parents. Neglect is a form of abuse. You check out for malnutrition, they're looking tattered. You ask questions. There are some children that have been exposed to certain sexual activities that when they're in your midst and you are trying to, okay, let me give you this example. I was having a conversation with a lady, and we're talking about sexual stuffs, and we tried not to use the word condom because a child, not a baby, a girl was there around 8, 9 years, and she was like, Auntie, I know where to they talk. How do you know what we are talking about? We're trying to say balloon, and then she said, I know that. You see, such children, you bring them close and question them. And if you do, you find out that this child is going through some form of abuse. It's a circle that if they don't speak, will not break. You know, so a lot of signals. You see some, they go that are being bullied in school, they don't want to go to school. And you notice a drop in their academic performance because they are being abused. See where that boy that was being slapped in school, why would that child want to go back to school? When you see a child who was once bubbly, now withdrawing into their shell, you ask questions. It's not the time to say, oh, you are not serious with your studies. That's how your father's brother is. That's how he's in your lineage. No, bring them close and say, what's happening? Is it the teacher, your student, your classmates no longer like you? You know, bring them close, and that's the only way we can curb this. It's a very broad
and also very
pain, yeah.
Because I remembered one other video that you showed me one time when the guy was molesting a 6-year-old. What was most horrifying was the fact that she put her legs and wrapped it around the man's waist.
So you know that, yes, the girl was involved.
That it was a regular occurrence.
Yes. It was a regular. Then to chip in to add to what you said, you see, this neighborhood thing, we all forget that as a country, it starts from somewhere, from family to a community, from the community to the society at large. People that leave their kids at home, go to their normal places, their business and all of that. These bros, they will call them, they will lure them, they will sleep with them. Not tell your mama go leave you, go tomorrow. Do you understand what I'm saying? Their parents still leave them with the same people. And they go, so those kids can't say anything.
So they are the mercy of their
They are the mercy of these people.
Yeah, but the kids tell the parents though.
They don't. You are not. The point is, you want to tell him that Uncle Sikiru touched you. But when you're going to the market tomorrow, maybe to Lagos Island to hustle, you are not taking her to Lagos Island. You're still going to leave her.
What I'm even wondering is that even when they do tell, do the parents, does it make any difference?
A lot of parents don't tell. There's a case we did in Ijebu-Ode. This neighbor poured hot boiling water on a 10-year-old boy. Rice. You know when you carry rice from the fire and you pour it with the rice water and everything on the boy. You know what the father said?
Who, the father of the boy?
The father of the boy refused to report to the police. I don't want police wahala. That was the first thing. I don't want people in the neighborhood to say that I'm troublesome. So the sister came from Lagos just to pay the father a visit. Saw the boy at home, fully covered, what's going on, opened the boy's clothes and saw that the boy was burned, 1st-degree burn. We left Lagos and went to Ijebu-Ode. The first person we arrested was the father. We locked him up. Because why would you keep such a thing? To make it worse, they brought a nurse, a quack nurse, to come and give anti-tetanus. We were asking the nurse, where did you get this injection from? How are we so sure that was what? We had to transport, we had to move the poor boy from Ijebu-Ode to Shagam. Let me shock you. The minute we were in the police station, the man's stepwife, what do you call it? The girl's stepmother, went to the area to say, your daughter went and reported, oh, they are carrying my husband away. They brought area boys. They invaded the police station.
Wow.
So the governor had to give, from Abeokuta, they had to give an instruction when we moved the boy to Shagam that they should reinforce the whole hospital premises so that they don't move from Ijebu-Ode to come and attack them. Even the medical directors, everybody was on ground. Nobody could go home because they were afraid that the Ijebu-Ode people, they were coming with their bikes to come and attack. Because they invaded the police station, DPO, everybody ran. A stepmother, that's her own stepson, just because her husband was locked up for not reporting. So a lot of parents don't report.
Now, anyway, you heard that they will tell us some horrifying stories. But I want to ask about the Child Rights Act. Cases keep slipping through. Why? Why do our laws fail to protect so many children as much as it should?
I think there's a couple of reasons can be attributed to the continuous molestation of children in our country.
Alarmingly.
It's alarmingly, yes. What we are seeing is clear evidence of failure of institutions of government, the breakdown of family values, and also the absence of the culture of shame in the society. From the government angle, we have a situation where, despite the passage of the Child Rights Act, which has been domesticated by nearly all the states in the country, governments have failed terribly to put the required machineries in place for the implementation of the Child Rights laws of the various states. Now, under the law, under the Child Rights Act, and under the Child Rights laws of the various states, every child has the right to the dignity of his or her person, a right to personal liberty, a right to life, and so on and so forth. But what do you find? Look at leave the cases that some of us have even been personally involved in. Look at what is happening across the streets and the roads and the highways in Nigeria. You are seeing minors begging, minors engaging in activities that are not supposed to concern children. Now, child abuse has also become pervasive because, as I said, the institutions of government are weak. I have had cause to intervene in a number of these cases. So what you will find is that a child is molested, either sexually molested or otherwise. The first question is, who is the child? Right. Who are the parents of the child? Are they economically stable? Do they have the resources to seek redress? Do they even have the knowledge, the education to understand that this is a matter that should be taken up? So illiteracy is part of the problem. Now, when children of the rich or the influential, in quote, are molested, well, we have seen it in Lagos, where children, a child passes on, a child dies, or a child suffers some severe injury in some of these highbrow private schools. These schools are closed down. You see government move, it becomes a sensational conversation, but that is mostly when children of the rich are involved. So there is also social stratification in this. If you look at the cases in Lagos, for example, I don't want to start mentioning the schools, but you know some of those private schools in Lagos that have become subject of controversy in recent years because a child died or a child was electrocuted. Go look at the pattern. the cases that we have seen receive attention are cases of schools where children of the influential people are attending. How about the community schools, the grammar schools across the Lagos and other states in Nigeria? The abuses that take place in those schools, who supervises them? Who addresses those abuses? So what we have now is a situation where there is failure on the part of law enforcement. The police, for example, has failed to really address this matter. It will surprise you to know that even in cases where children are sexually abused, the police, in many cases, still lacks the professionalism, the capacity, and the discipline to ensure that the culprits are punished. You will find situations where the culprits are either trying to bribe their way out of investigation, or they are trying to cajole the parents, threaten the parents, or pay the parents off for the matter to be abandoned. I have personally had cause to intervene in cases where I was crying more than the bereaved. Because you find situations where parents are looking for, because families must also take responsibility in this. It is not entirely the fault of the government. Parents must realize that they owe duties to their children. When a child is abused, the community must be able to respond. The neighbors must be able to respond. That is why I think it's also evidence of the breakdown of societal values. If you reside in a neighborhood and you are seeing a child being abused, you are seeing something unusual happening, you are noticing that your neighbor has this maid, and suddenly you wake up in the morning, you find injuries on the body of the maid, you find this maid, or you hear the maid crying, why are you not taking interest to find out what is happening?
They will never.
So what you see is also complicity on the part of the society. And that is why people must also begin to take personal responsibility. The other problem that we see is also the weakness of the judicial process, right? Because it is one thing to say, oh, let us seek redress. The truth of the matter is that many Nigerians have, I don't want to say have lost faith, but they have some hesitation in seeking redress in court. They will tell you, oh, I don't have time or money for court case, so I will not be able to do court case. So why? Because they believe the process is going to be low. But you see, in a place like Lagos, and that is why, Lagos in terms of institutional reform, Lagos still prides itself far ahead of most states. In Lagos, for example, they have what they call the Special Offences Court that has been set up basically to address, these kind of matters. Mm-hmm. Every state is supposed to replicate that. If you go to the Special Offences Court in Lagos, they have specialized judges that are trained, that are appointed to handle cases of this nature. Why don't we replicate that? What do you find? You find the politicization of the abuse of the Nigerian child by wives of governors. There is hardly any first lady in Nigeria today that does not have one pet project or the other purportedly targeted at, defending children. But in practical sense, how many first ladies in Nigeria can tell us that since their spouses became governors, that they have been able to rescue 100 children? But you find that hundreds and billions of money are being voted into these offices in the name of pet projects to defend children, the girl child. They are not really doing the real thing.
If normally in cases like this, what kind of sentence are the culprits usually given?
It depends on the nature of the abuse.
Let's just assume that, okay, you were telling the story now of a 15-year-old boy who is having sexual relationships with triplets. Three girls, and there are 3 minors. But then again, he's a minor.
No, it doesn't. Does that matter? It matters.
If the abuser is a minor as opposed to an adult, does the sentencing?
Of course.
What kind of sentences do they get?
We have the child justice system, the young person's
But would they get the kind of justice that they would get if they were adults?
No, they are going to be punished. Now, what you will find is that where a young person, who has gone against the law, for example, you find a 15-year-old having carnal knowledge of a minor. Of course, the matter will go to the police. The police will arrest the person. The person will be arraigned. The only difference is that in the case of a minor or a young person, you are not going to have, the juvenile justice system is different from the justice system for the adults. The punishment is not going to be exactly what an adult is supposed to bear.
But what would an adult get? I'm just curious.
It depends, but it's not going to be 1 year. It's going to be serious. And at the same time, what you will also find is that the juvenile justice system is reformative. It is intended to reform the child. Yeah. So you will find, in addition to custodial sentence, the judge can recommend community service. I witnessed recently a case at the High Court of Lagos on the island, where a juvenile was basically involved in armed robbery that resulted in the death of someone. And then at the end of the day, those who stood trial, the adults that participated in the crime, they were sentenced to death. But of course, the juvenile was given a few years, and the judge made some recommendations. They should be trained and so on. So when juveniles or minors are involved in offenses, the intention of the law is to reform them. But what is the motivation for a 15-year-old to seek to have carnal knowledge? It is failure of society. And then one question I always ask, which I have never gotten a satisfactory answer. Where does the desire, sexual desire for a minor come from?
Perversion.
I mean, it is sickening.
Number one is a mental health.
It is sickening.
Mental health related.
How do you as a man get sexually aroused seeing a 3-year-old?
They see their parents do it.
It is sick.
Poverty. They see their parents. You just saw the video I showed you. 2 minors. These boys are just 9 years and 10 years. And adults were around them. They were doing it. Nobody stopped them. This happened in Lekki Phase 1. I had to personally send the video to governor that pick these people up or I blow it up. Broad daylight. It wasn't in the dark. It wasn't in a covered place. So these children see their parents do a lot of these things. That I can tell you.
Their parents actually abuse.
Yes, they do. They do very well. There is a case, you see all these face my face you houses that they live in. Trust me. There's a case we're doing currently at somewhere in Surulere. About 6 children in one room, husband and wife, with a house girl, making 8. The man would sneak to sleep with his wife, but this girl has worked all day. She barely sleeps. So the girl will be, her eyes are clearly opened and she sees the man sleeping. Yes.
Husband and wife.
Yes, and she sees the man sleeping with his wife, and they are all asleep, 3 a.m. And then one day, the boy also did the same thing to the man's daughter.
Who?
The male houseboy.
Oh, male houseboy.
Yes, also a 15-year-old houseboy also carried I think the girl is 6 years. And then started with her. How did the girl get to know?
But they all slept in the same room.
They all sleep in the same room. And then by the time the girl woke up, she saw that she noticed that her pants are always down.
She wasn't aware that she was being...
She wasn't even aware that somebody was, they are all squeezed together. So it was when it got to that point, she told the neighbors, I beg go, this man, no wanting problem. They all kept quiet until the girl found her way to Surulere police station, because she's the 6-year-old. She's the one that
girl.
Yes, she now walked to police station. Somebody go like this, go. She got to the police station. They reported the case at the police station.
The 6 years old.
Yes, a 6-year-old girl.
The houseboy that sleeps.
Yes, had the energy, the effrontery, the spirit to walk into a police station. Then she reported to a female police officer. The female police officer called us. So they see these things happening broad daylight in their homes, and let's not forget. You see this puberty of a teen, this adolescence of a teen, 15, 16-year-old children, they start to have erection. Earlier than we expect. It's a mental health issue. Government has to look at these things as part of mental health issue and then see how to address these things. Our schools, they no longer have counselors where our children can walk up and report. You are right, it's a woefully failed system.
But how do we, let me ask you, Precious, how do we lend our voices to causes like this? What do you think needs to be done more to curb this menace in our society?
I think sensitization, enlightenment, because even the kind of stories, she's in the field, so she sees a lot. Goosebumps, because how is a 15-year-old sleeping with a 3-year-old? Triplets, not 1, 3 children. Meaning if you sleep with this one today, you go there tomorrow. I think sensitization. Where are the parents? What's going on? Programs that we enlighten parents, especially in these ghetto areas. Because it happens in luxury areas, but I think it's more in the ghetto areas, right? You see, she's talking about face me, I face you, meaning they are all packed together. It's something that could have been avoided if probably poverty. Yes, you know, illiteracy also, I think, is a problem. These people, I don't even know if they know it's a crime against humanity and God.
Let me chip in.
I feel...
A lady sent me a video on Instagram. She was crying. She's a single mom. So at some point, both parents agreed to start co-parenting. And after some years, she thought that, okay, this guy said he wants to come and take these children, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And the lady was like, fine, at least. You know, when the man that has left you comes back, you want to, you know. So she allowed the boy go to the father. By the time the boy came back, after 2 weeks, she met her own 4-year-old son sucking his own sister's nipple. She met our own son's body. Son. A lot of strange...
Around his leather regions.
So she was devastated. She couldn't say a word. She caught the boy. She recorded it and sent it to me. I saw it. The tiny thing was up like this. I saw it. 4-year-old boy on a 2-year-old. Brothers and sister.
I'm sorry, what I'm hearing here is just so bewildering that I'm a bit, you know, thrown off balance. So let's get back to you, Tone. You were telling us, I remember that video of the girl that was making love to some boys, and she looked like she knew what she was doing. But you said something about she learned those moves from her dad?
Their fathers. A lot of these girls, their fathers abused them. There's a particular case that we did. It was the man that disvirgined the girl, sleeps with her.
That's his father?
Yes, comes home when the mom is not at home, lock her up, sleeps with her. The man taught his own biological daughter all the moves. So when the girl went out, carried her phone and was doing it, she was like a pro.
Yes,
but on the long run, the father was the main actor and coordinator. And the mother eventually knew about it and kept quiet. Until her friends forced her that you better speak up or we speak up for you. So we have a lot of all those cases.
But what about the other school you said as well, that the girls are
there's a school. There's a school somewhere after, I don't know how to, you're trying to make me mince my words, but I'm not that kind of a person. There's a school on the mainland, a very big popular school on the mainland. These boys, during their break time, they go to the back of the class, tell these girls to suck them, they pull up erection, and then when they want to release, they start dropping on the lips. And this particular girl sees them from the classroom. She has reported to the teachers countless times, and the teacher will say, keep quiet, you want to spoil the name of the school. This girl saw me in a public function, walked up to me and said she needed to talk to me. The mom was like, what do you want to discuss? I told the mom, I said, you might know me or you don't know me, but allow this girl have access to me. The girl told me everything, and with immediate effect, I called the Lagos State government, we set up a committee, we went there. The girl gave us the name of the teacher, she gave us the name of the particular student, she gave us her class, and then we went there, picked this particular girl up to narrate the whole story to us, and she did. They all confessed.
All the boys confessed?
All of them confessed.
So what happened to them?
They're in custody. You see, in a month, I get more than 8,000 reports. And maybe just one or two. Yes, we have everything. We have all our paperwork. We have all our documents. And we just bring maybe one or two to social media. This is 2025. I've done more than 12,000 rape cases. Father to daughter, minors, young boys in the area to all these things and all of that. We become weak at some point because families would come in and then they always see it as a family issue, not understanding that this is government-related issues.
You were talking about some woman whose husband was raping the 2 children, but she's now asking for her husband to be released.
So the man was arrested and locked up, and then the woman is calling for the release of her husband, that she's not interested in the case again. Let him come home, be sleeping with his children, but let him pay school fees and take responsibility because she cannot afford it.
Have you seen situations like that in your cases? Can you give us some examples?
Of course. I mean, I may not be able to mention.
No, you don't need to mention names. Just give us examples.
What you will find, let me speak generally, what you will find, because as I said, if you see even the pattern that Effiong has mentioned, one thing is recurring: poverty. Poverty is a recurring decimal. It is very unlikely to find a child of a parents who are enlightened and have the economic wherewithal, have the economic capacity, having to endure these things. I'm not saying there are no. I'm not saying there are no influential people that are perverts.
It's a perversion.
But in terms of percentage,
yeah, it might be less.
if you aggregate it is predominantly.
It's high.
It's high
among the rich people. Is high. There's a case that happened. There's a girl that became suicidal in the UK. She's 33 years old. She's refused to marry because she doesn't want to have anything to do with any man. She became suicidal on 3 different occasions. But on the 3rd one, they had to check her into a different home. So whilst they were investigating, she said her own grandfather was the one who sexually molested her. By the time the mother heard about it, it's a big name in Nigeria. If I mention it, they're very big. They went there and said they were going to arrest the man. The siblings stood up and said, Baba is over 90, you cannot touch him.
I think I know that.
Yes,
I know that story.
I know of a big police officer in this country that sexually molests his own daughter. We have taken cases to him. You know the way we will shout and the next thing we'll go to police station. And their attitude will be like, not knowing that he himself does the same thing to his own biological. So somebody that is an actor in the game, how does he want to feel when we are reporting? It's not a big deal to them.
It happens.
It's high also in the trenches.
It's overwhelming in the trenches.
It's overwhelming. That's what he's trying to say. It happens in the luxury places, the bourgeois. But even in the trenches, it's more because it's like a lifestyle. This one, you're picking cases. It's a norm. It's a norm. There is
no stigma attached to it.
I told you that a lot of our girls,
the woman who sells food, the woman who sells food,
are you saying
yes,
it's a norm because of lack of provision?
Because of lack
but
of
not
provision.
that there's no stigma. There must be a stigma.
There is
It cannot be. It's everyday occurrence.
It is the person who doesn't enjoy it eventually. How do I explain it? I don't want to use vernacular.
How do you
It is the
enjoy
person who did not enjoy it that gets the stigma. See, listen.
Okay, the culprit doesn't get the stigma.
No, see. Listen, it happens in different ways. There are some persons that even the parents are the ones engineering it. It is the mother who sells food that is telling the teenage daughter, go give brother inside house. You don't understand? Because when he wants to pay, he will pay extra. She knows what's going on. She sees her adjusting her pants. You understand? Those ones, where's the stigma going to come from? In fact, if she wants to talk, the mother will tell her to shut up.
And you know, one thing we don't often stress enough about molesting the girl child. It is irrecoverable. It is hardly...
Yes,
in fact, I had a lady reach out to me on X recently, narrating years of abuse that she endured from home, sexual abuse. So you find that these children, when they grow up, not only is there resentment...
They might even start the pattern again.
Not only do they have a sense of resentment, they grow up with a certain mindset. So even when they marry, you would find that their attitude to intimacy with their spouse is impacted. And that is why this is such a serious matter. Yeah. But no matter how much we blame families, and families must take the blame, because that is where this starts. The reality today is that there is a failure on the part of the government to address this matter.
True.
If government is efficient, because at the end of the day, what is happening in the... What is the whole idea of having a government? It is because we have collectively, the idea of a social contract, said, look, we want to repose our self-governing capacity to an institution. Let government regulate our affairs. Now, why is it that these cases are so rampant? Because people have simply lost faith in institutions of government. Don't be surprised. It is not as if, these cases are never reported. When these cases are reported, what is the attitude of the government to it? We have what they call Ministry of Women and Social Welfare across the country. How efficient are these ministries? Go and check. What is the budget?
They are not.
Are they properly funded? How many social welfare officers do we have across the states? Because we say civilized crimes. One of the things about those so-called civilized crimes is that even a neighbor that notices that something is wrong, they will quickly call welfare And the government can even come and take custody of the child.
Yes.
In Nigeria, government is surrendering custody to the streets. So you find a situation where of complete hopelessness. The police officer that you are assigning to investigate cases of this nature, what is the level of training that they have? Do you know that there is no police formation or unit in Nigeria today that there is no human rights desk?
Yes, yes, gender.
The gender. Go and look at their gender desks and even their human rights units. How efficient are they?
They don't open. We had a case in
How efficient are they?
We went to rescue a girl. We got to gender. They were not opened. They said they know they come. By Monday, they go come by 3. And that department is there, boldly written there. But there are no police officers there. The officers there, when you see them, they go and buy pap, sit down, hey, madam, you go calm down, explain, oh, you know, this. And now, most of those police officers, once they hear that you are an NGO, until you go give us your number, we go need you next time. Then they start to call NGOs to come and handle the cases. They don't have the facilities.
We must also address the failure of religious institutions. Some of these perversive actions are taking place
in
churches. I'm telling you.
Churches.
In fact, a few months ago, I was confronted with a case involving a so-called clergy, a so-called pastor, man of God, in quotes.
In Abuja.
Who was molesting, it's not in Abuja, who was molesting children.
Because we're doing Abuja one now.
And then you find this, oh, let's protect him, let's not expose the church. The one that irritates me the most is the excuse that the parents are making.
What excuse?
In many cases, the parents don't want to expose the culprits. The parents will make excuses for the culprits. Oh, pastor, don't bring shame to our family. We don't want the stigma. We are not. The parents, in many cases, do not want to pursue these cases. And guess what? There's a limit to which you, as an activist, you, as a human rights crusader, can go. Because who is going to bring the child? The parents must be willing to bring the child for medical examination. They must be willing to have the child testify, for it to even go through the judicial process. The parents are complicit, so families must take responsibilities.
Yeah, but do you think
government
most of these families, they're paid off by the victims?
In many cases, money exchange hands.
Money exchange.
Yeah,
I'm
money
telling you,
exchange
I have
hands,
seen case after case, where they will simply offer money and a lawyer, sorry, we've settled the matter. What are you going to do?
Nothing.
I'm telling you, what are you going to do?
Sometimes it's
What
not
are you going to
even
do?
money.
They will deny
barrister.
you.
Sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes I feel it's fear, threat. Now, see one particular case I did. I was still upcoming. I was still very young, you know, but I was just starting this whole activism stuff. And they brought it to me that this particular guy lured this girl. I'll say she's a minor, though a graduate, but not up to 17. You know those people that get into school in time. A Uniben student. Yeah, she just rounded her final year, very young, very smallish, and then this guy she's been chatting with on Instagram invited her to the place. What he does is he invites you to this fast food that is close to the house. He would describe it in a way that you would not know the place, and then he tells you give it to the cabman, and when you give the cabman, he will now describe the house that is just close to the fast food. Because I baited him, and that's exactly what he did to me. That's how we caught him. So he did that to the girl. When the girl came, oh, that's my house, that's the fast food. Let's just see my house first before we go and have lunch. And that's how she entered, saw 3 guys, and never came out till the next morning. The whole of the night, slept.
All of them slept.
No, not all of them, just the guy. Because she couldn't go out because the guys now that were in the parlor, she was defied. She was a virgin till she was a young. She was defied till daybreak. It was daybreak they allowed her to come out. She confided in someone that reached out to me then in Uniben. So I baited the guy. But you know what broke my heart? I took this guy to the airport division as at then in Benin. And it was a female DPO. And we came to, she couldn't even walk properly. We came to report a case. Come here, you were raped. Her words was, did they see you? No, he say, now for streets didn't see you, not be you go a house. Oh, I was so raged. That was the first time I confronted a police officer head on. I was so ready for whatever they wanted to do to me. I said, anyways, I'm not trusting you for justice. Just we have reported, leave it to me. So I now started baiting the guy, involved some military army people. You know, when the guy invited me, just the same way, we went there and we caught the guy. Upon catching this guy, we realized that there are so many young people he's chatting with like that. So the same is like Yahoo, the same format. You know, we saw the nakedness of this girl with the blood on her body when he was
Can I tell you
gone.
that boy is sick?
The boy.
The boy is sick.
Do you know? We were taking the boy.
If he's in America or in the UK, we're going to treat that as a mental
aid patient.
But Nigeria,
we were taking the boy to the police station. That's why I'm telling you, fear. We're taking the boy to the police, to the state CID aside. Then close to the gates, the girl just burst cry. That please, her mother is sick. She doesn't want any issue. If it is the 120K the boy is bringing to beg us, let's just take it. I said, how do you take? I was sick for this. How do you take it? We could see another girl lying almost lifeless on the bed. Lifeless. When we checked the boy's phone. Yeah, when we checked the boy's phone.
Oh, he was taking pictures of
girls.
Oh my
and I couldn't cry more than the bereaved. I didn't know anybody then. I didn't know the law so much. I just knew I had the zeal, but not the knowledge. If not, I would have insisted. And that's how we left the boy. The only thing the boy got was the beating from the 2 soldier men. That was all.
So there's no guarantee that he won't have continued what he was doing?
I don't even, most times I still go back to see if I can find that chat on my Instagram. It's been years. Just like that.
Okay, so how can we as a people now begin to lend our voices to causes like this? Because obviously, the court doesn't seem to be able to help us too well when it comes to criminal justice.
How many cases
how can we as individuals now begin to lend our voices and create, what can be created? How do you work with NGOs to ensure that these culprits are brought to justice?
There are various things that can be done.
Like what?
And I want to start from the government. Okay, because even when victims are unwilling to seek justice, the government has institutions to insist on justice. The government must begin to fund and provide resources for agencies that are saddled with responsibilities of responding to this. We're supposed to have a quick response
units,
tools.
Yes.
That you can just simply dial and report a suspected case of abuse. We don't have that. What is our emergency response in this country?
You see this thing he said?
We don't have that.
The Commissioner of Youth, Lagos State, and then the PAMSEC. I was with them last year. I met a young man there, and said they were discussing about this issue. And I said, we have BRT buses. Numbers of them. Let there be an 090 or a 070 number that you dial. Free. You can pick up anybody's phone and quickly come. They said they were working on it. Till now, I haven't seen that record, that effective. Now, we also talked about rapid response vehicles. Yes. Just like they have these ones in Lagos State. What do we call them? Them Egbeyemi's own. There's this, what they call them in Lagos State. You know, there are 2 different types of police in Lagos State. You know the one I'm talking about. Squad, this squad that they always bring during EdSARS protests. Okay. These people that are always fully armed. We said, can't we have this type of people as well? They said they are private, they are always sponsored, they are always funded. Dangote can donate. Then carry our matters to these people that they are dying situations in communities and they need all these rapid response vehicles. And all they are doing, because on several locations when I call RRS, they will tell you, madam, let's come because it's you, because it's children. But by virtue of their responsibilities, they are not supposed to go and rescue children, which should not be. So just like he said, we need these vehicles, we need these departments functioning to the brim. Because until we identify that, you also made a statement. The governor of any state is the chief security officer. I once told the governor, I said, stop addressing us as my fellow citizens. Address us as my children. Let there be this bond and connection so that you owe them a fatherly responsibility so that when you hear some cases, you can look at it from the angle of a father and not a governor who still has to go through protocols. Look at it that this is my son. Attend to this case, deal with this case, and let's see results.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Onojobi. Thank you so much, Precious Oruche. Thank you so much, Effiong. As usual, time has flown by. And
Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
Please, before we go, you see all this, our local governments too, they play a key role. Primary health centers and local government councils. 2 years ago, we tried to tell people that local government councils should have libraries and nurseries where instead of people leaving their kids at home and going to Lagos Island to hustle, don't leave them at the mercy of brothers and uncles to watch over you. Because those days, we have what we call communal parenting. Yeah, you sit down there. One person is at home monitoring all the children. Now, that one person at home monitoring all the children is looking for who to prey on. So local governments should have libraries where these children are no longer idle. They can go there, sit down, do their assignments, read books. These days, they get home, they pick phones, and you see them, TikTok, Snapchat, they see all sorts because their parents are not at home. And now girls are in one corner.
Thank you so much.
Let's extend this to 1 hour.
I was going to make a
Please, quick one,
very quick recommendation. Every state government in Nigeria should introduce a policy today for monthly compulsory counseling in public schools. A day should be set aside for children to speak in private to counselors, narrating what is happening to them at home. So that cases that are worth taking up, it should be immediately addressed. That will go a long way to solve this problem.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I wish we had the longer time for this. We'll probably do a part 2 much sooner than later. Anyway, every bleeding welt disguised as correction, every silenced cry of a molested child, every young soul bullied or lured into drugs under the very eyes of their protectors is our collective shame. To every parent, every teacher, every leader or caregiver, this is your call. Believe our children, protect them, and fight for them with everything that you have. And remember this, every child that we save is not just a life preserved, it is our nation's soul reclaimed. Their survival is our strength, their healing, our redemption. And as I keep saying, life is a learning curve. And that's all we have time for you today. We've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime. God willing, I shall be back same time next week for another episode of the program. Until then, stay well and have a great week.